Hi guys, what's up? It's Joe Pitt here, back with another video, and in this video it'll be for Love Island 2025 Season 12 Episode 30. I'll leave a link down below to Episode 29. Of course, it's going to be spoilers. So without further ado, let's get on with it. So Lucy says she doesn't want to pull anyone else. She just wants to be sat with Tommy. Dejan and Lucy were talking about the kiss that they had for, I think it was... Tommy was saying, I saw you kiss Dejan for 10 seconds. I wish that was with me. And then she grabbed him and they kissed. And then Tommy was like, what I do to be him right now, he said. He got like lipstick all over him. They were excited for a cuddle. Harry and Rio were talking of kissing his ex, Emma. She would rather he be inside the bed tonight rather than outside. Yaz and Giorgio were talking about, being a good kisser. They kissed again. She got lipstick on him. It was very red as well. Lauren and Harrison kissed. They also spoke. Tony and Cash spoke. Then they talked about, being forever trouble. Cash was describing Tony as emotionally, socially intelligent, charismatic, funny. Well, that's what she said, but, he was just describing his good girl. Be like, oh, you're describing me, are you? Meg and Martin spoke. She did trust Dejan, but she's not sure now. Martin is actually very nice as well. Helena and Ty spoke. Shakira said that Helena is taking the pee, basically, that she's talking to Ty, even though she's got Harry, and she's got no one really, so, yeah, but Ty is really fit, Helena said. Harry was talking to Dejan and Tommy about Rio. They laughed. Ben and Andrada spoke. They're going to share a bed tonight. Ty put his bottle on Helena's table to secure, her bed, basically. So Ty and Helena, they spooned. Yasmin and Jamie were in bed. They did nothing. Well, apart from Jamie having his hand on her hair. Emily and Boris were sleeping, but they did nothing. Cash and Tony hugged. Billy kissed and Martin, nothing there. Meg was on her own. And then I don't think it showed Chris and Shakira. Then Lauren and Harrison kissed. Lucy and Tommy kissed. Emma and Connor kissed. Yaz and Georgia were under the covers. They probably kissed as well. Andrada and Ben kissed. And then Dejan was on his own on the daybed. And then Harry and Rio kissed. Helena said she would love a coffee, basically talking to Ty. Cash made a coffee for Tony. The Villa girls spoke. So it was Meg, Helena and Emily speaking. Talking about, Ty being a good cuddler. They held hands, but there was no kissing there. And then Ty was like, all right, duck. And then thanks, basically, Ty brought a coffee for Helena. Meg and Emily said they are missing their boys that are in Casa. Shakira and Ty spoke. They're going to play musical beds tonight, so they're going to switch about. Helena pulled Ty from Shakira. And then Shakira said to Ty, see you later, sunshine. Tony and Shakira then spoke. Shakira then pulled Ty off again from Helena. Sharing is caring, she said. Harry and Rio spoke. He said like a little minx. They had another kiss. And then she's interested of his massaging techniques. Harrison made breakfast for Lauren. They had a chat. Cash was saying holding hands is much worse than kissing. He says that Tony is having better chat with Cash than with Harrison. They had a kiss as well. It was giving Tony butterflies. Meg and Emily spoke. If Meg was speaking to Dejan on the outside, he'd be blocked immediately with his actions, what he's going on. Jamie and Yasmin spoke. They said they had a nice cuddle and she has a nice nighttime voice. Emma is so excited to speak to Connor. Connor tickled her feet. Then they were talking about, their family. So he lives with his mom. Emma's got an older brother and a younger sister. She would love to have 3 kids. Connor was saying he might want to have 4, but he'd love a mini-me of himself. Shakira and Tony spoke, basically about the kiss that Tony had with Cash. And then Tony said, not looking good from our friend from Derby, Tony said. One thing ends, another begins. Billy Kiss and Boris spoke on the terrace. Boris was saying that the bottle's very nice, that you don't have that you can sip it, he says. Then they were talking about perfect dates. Basically, he said he would cook for a girl on a first date. He's never kissed a girl from Ireland. She's never kissed a guy from Slovenia, so they had a kiss. He had foundation all over him. Meg is upset when she was speaking to Helena that Dejan misses Meg, or I think Meg misses Dejan as well. Andrade gave Harry a back massage. Jamie, well, is a rule breaker. He says he misbehaves. He has to break rules. Yasmin's the same. Jamie and Yasmin spoke and then they kissed. And then they were saying they can misbehave together. Misbehave in party as well. And then when he said, oh, I'm a good kisser. And then she said, yeah, I know. And all this. And then he said, yeah, I know too. Boris and Billy Kiss spoke. When he speaks as well, he moves his hands, and I think she's the same as well. She appreciates him being open and vulnerable. They had a little kiss again. Emily and Tony spoke. Tommy, well, they were saying he's a good man. Don't know about that. Well, Tommy and Lucy were talking about, first date, but she doesn't drive, but he'd go to Liverpool. Then they were talking about school and grades. Then they were talking about ICT, but then Tommy was thinking Lucy was saying ICT, like coffee, tea, but yeah, it was confusing. Ben and Andrade spoke. Andrade has had 2 relationships. One of them she's been cheated on. Ben cheated on his first one, he said. They had a kiss. Harry and Rayo spoke. Rayo held his arm. And then she says that she loves watching like a boy do his favourite sport or something. She was stroking his arm. And then she was saying that he's behaving well, she says. And then Harry said, I'm really close to eating you alive. And then Rayo said, taking a bite, yeah, I'm pretty tasty. Yaz and Giorgio spoke. They were talking about their turn-ons, 3 turn-ons. So Giorgio said physical touch, kissing and foreplay. Then Yaz said physical touch, and then he was like, you can't copy me, But then she said authority, like being told what to do, and kissing. They had another kiss. Some of us saw, like Tommy and etc. Dejan and Andrade spoke. He wants like more time. He wants to spend more time with her as well. And there was something talking about eating him or whatever. Tommy was saying them two were getting on really well. They were laughing as well. There could be more there. She is quite picky, Andrade, she says. It is giving the tingle, though, the old flutters. Ty and Shakira spoke. They were just basically talking about thoughts on him. He moved the water bottle to Shakira's bed now. They had a kiss. Cash and Tony spoke. Tony is quite scared of Cash, but in a good way, really. They had another kiss. Helena pulled Ty from Shakira. Then Ty mentioned the kiss that he had with Shakira. Meg and Martin spoke on the terrace. He asked about the sleeping situation. They were sleeping together, but nothing was going to be happening really. Ben and Andrade were kissing under the covers already when the lights were on. Helena and Chris, nothing happened there. Martin and Meg, nothing happened. Yasmin and Jamie kissed. Boris and Billy kissed. Shakira and Ty spooned. Cash and Tony kissed. She was on him as well. Emily was on her own. And then in the other villa, Emma and Connor were under the covers kissing. Yaz and Giorgio, nothing there. Rayo and Harry kissed, and sort of under the covers, I think. Andrade and Ben were kissing and under the covers. Dejan was out on the daybeds again. Tommy and Lucy, well, Lucy was on Tommy, and they were kissing and under the covers. Harrison and Lauren were under the covers. Not sure what was going on there. Probably kissing as well. But yeah, tonight is the recoupling, so that should be an interesting one as to who's gonna like stick and who's gonna twist. This first look, yeah, Meg's upset after Casa course cracks. With Casa and Moore in full swing, Meg starts questioning whether her and Dejan are as strong as she thought. Lucy and Tommy seal the night with a snog. Giorgio and Yaz smooch in the garden. In Yaz's eyes, Giorgio has the X factor. There's a poll, which boy would you ask for advice? Who will win this Casa tug of war, Helena or Shakira? Harry and Rayo get flirty. Is your head turning? And then there's a poll on that. What's more intimate? The whole kissing, cuddling, or falling asleep holding hands? But yeah, will Harry, secretly want Emma? Will he turn for Rayo, or is he going to stick with Helena? Tony and Cash turn up the heat with a kiss. Do you still keep your flirting in a long-term relationship? There's a poll on that. What's your perfect date? Poll on that. Boris's first kiss with Billy kiss. Meg gets tearful. An upset Meg cries for the second time tonight as her time away from Dejan has caused her to reflect on their relationship. Meg gets vulnerable with Helena, admitting she feels Dejan doesn't like me as much as he wants to which Helena is speedy to agree. Will this cause Meg's eyes to wander over to one of the new Casa boys? And then the ICT thing made me laugh so hard I nearly spat on my oat milk. There's a video on that. Tommy struggled to compute this one. Andrade and Dejan's chats get flirty. Who are you shipping the most? Andrade and Dejan, Andrade or Ben, or Meg and Dejan. Shakira and Ty kiss. Looks like it might not be a tie between Shakira and Helena anymore. Pun on that. Meg agrees to share a bed with Martin. How much is her head turning? There's a poll on that. The morning after, episode 22, it's giving Casa chaos. Has Harry and Helena's undeniable connection already been forgotten? Has Tony finally found the man of her dreams in Cash? Have fractures finally formed between Dejan and Meg? Plus, with a recoupling looming, we give our predictions. First look, it's time for the Casa recoupling. Who will stick and stay loyal in their couple, and who will twist and decide to recouple with a new Casa Amor connection? Well, only time will tell. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.